Well, it's a fresh start, a new simulator and flying adventures to come. Join me, Aviator SJ, on the journey. So hello and welcome to Aviator SJ here in the Cessna 172 Flight Simulator. Obviously a lot of you who have subscribed to the channel for the last few years will have known that I haven't been flying in the simulator for the last 5 months or so. But as you can see, we've had a fresh start and a new year with our G1000 setup here in the simulator, and I'll go through today just taking you through the G1000 and see how well it operates in the simulator. I've had a try with it once before, and I must say it's an impressive system being run on 2 iPads. So as we get underway, I'm just going to pick up my mic cover because I dropped it earlier, so just bear with me as I put this back on. There we go, that's better. So yeah, as we get underway, we'll just do a local flight as we're here at Goodwood, currently on runway 24 as far as I know, or possibly 28. But yeah, as I say, I'll take you through the G1000. Those of you who maybe fly aircraft with the G1000 will know its basic features, but those of you who don't, hopefully you'll learn something you didn't know by the end of the video. So I'm gonna just start up a quick start without the checklist, etc. So we've obviously got the master switch on. We will make sure that our mixture is full and free. We'll set that full, make sure the throttle's full and free, and set that quarter open, and then we'll check that we're clear all around, which we are of course, and we'll get the engine started. So, engine started, we're going to get the RPM up to 1200 first. We can then flick our avionics on now. And we've got our beacon on and our strobes on as well. So yeah, so this is our G1000 setup. Here we have our PFD, or our primary flight display. So this is obviously displaying our artificial horizon with our airspeed indicator and altitude indicator. We've got a small map down here just to show us where we are. We do have a larger navigation map on here as well. Unfortunately though, it doesn't seem to show any land features yet, so I'll have to look into that, and hopefully I'll get that working at some point. But for now, we're just going to stick with what we've got. Down on the left here, we've also got our engine T's and P's, so temperatures and pressures. As you can see, we've got some in the green, some in the red. Let's just get that Garmin back up. That just quit on me all of a sudden. So yes, we've got our T's and P's in the green, and they're going to be swiveling up and down depending on what our oil temperatures and pressures are doing. And then obviously we've got our revs coming up here. We've also got our nav display, navigation frequency, up here, and our COM1 and COM2 frequencies as well. So I'm going to change that to 12455 for Goodwood. So that's all set in. We'll go through VOR tracking as well, and we'll just go on a local flight. So what we'll do, we'll bring the power back first. Let's get some flaps down as well. Let's get the brakes off, and let's bring her round to the left, to the right, sorry. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3 full power. RPM is sitting at around about 2300 RPM. Our airspeed is alive. We want 55, which we got. So we're going to rotate. We're then just going to go 20 degrees to the right for a noise abatement turn, and then 300 feet for the flaps up. want around about 10 degrees nose up, and then we want our airspeed of around about 74, 75 knots in the climb. So we have this for two reasons: one, so we don't stall the course, fall out of the sky, and two, it keeps our RPM within the green band. So we're going to climb up to 2,000 feet today. And when we get to 2,000 feet, we'll bring it around to the right, and we'll go through VOR tracking. So the simulator, or the G1000, sorry, on the iPads runs off Simionic software. As far as I know, it was £20 from the App Store. That's per iPad, so £40 in total. Of course, it's different in other countries. It could be more, could be slightly less, depending on the currency. But as far as I know, you can purchase this anywhere in the world on the Apple App Store. So we'll bring it back to 1900 RPM, and then when we gain our airspeed, we'll increase it back to around about 2300 for the cruise. So if we just get a level first, and then we'll just trim out for the minute. So when we set our VOR, which is up here for our nav, we're essentially setting the frequency to a specific VOR tower which is located, or there's multiple ones located around the UK. They are going a bit out of fashion now, and some of them have been demolished completely, just with new upgrades in aviation technology, in terms of having a moving map in the aircraft itself. But we always like using old techniques in terms of finding where we are and where we may want to go. So we still have some VOR towers based within the UK. So we'll climb back up to 2000 again, just so I don't let it drop. And we're going to set the VOR today to Midhurst, which is located kind of just about 10 miles above Goodwood. So if I go over to my little scroller on here, I can change the frequency for Midhurst, which is 114.00. So that's now come up as 114.00 on there. To actually make it active, we swap it over like that. So the one that's in the green now is now active, and you can see it says MID, which stands for, of course, Midhurst. So what I can do now, if I just click up in here, and then click onto this one here, you can see that the arrow has now pointed me in that direction. And if I follow that arrow round onto my heading bug, it should then take me straight to Midhurst VOR tower. So to put it in simple terms, as you can see, we've got our arrow here which is pointing us in the direction of Midhurst, but to actually get me on track, I want this other line, this other green line here, sorry, right under my aircraft silhouette there, which is the white little aircraft just there. So if I want to actually get on track to fly directly over Midhurst Tower, I'm going to bring it to the right first, and you'll start to see this little green line here will start to move under, as you can see, under the aircraft silhouette. So I'm now making track. Once I think that it's starting to come onto track, I can then start to bring it back to the left and go back onto that heading. I'm going to increase our height again just because we've dropped a little bit. So it's currently telling me to go on a heading of 043 degrees. I'm going to bring that on my heading bug here and have that at 043 there. It is a little bit slow with the connection of the iPad. It is having to run a lot on the simulator alone. This iPad here, as far as I know, I think it's an iPad 1, so it's quite an old iPad. This one here is a 2020 iPad. So I'm hoping to get another one of these 2020 iPads, replace it with this one. Just because obviously this one has got a slower processor to it. But for now it works pretty well. It gives me my basic heights and speeds at least. So hopefully, as we're just flying along, hopefully within the next month or two I'm going to have my PPL license, or private license, and I'm hoping to do some videos of actual flying in various aircraft, and hopefully you can join me for those flying adventures. And of course I'll still keep on making simulator videos and tutorials for those of you who have simulators of your own and want to take up the hobby yourself. So just up here in the map now I can see there's a little symbol there, which is a VOR symbol. So I know that I'm heading on the right track now. I know that I'll get over Midhurst, and for the sake of this flight we're now going to turn back towards Goodwood to make the landing. So if we carry on, or if we did carry on going over Midhurst, what would happen is that when we go over the tower, we would go over the zone where essentially as we go over, the arrow would flip around. Because we've gone over the tower, would be behind us and the arrow would be pointing behind us instead. So that we don't drag on too much in terms of time, we're going to head back towards Goodwood now. And we'll make a straight approach for runway 14 this time. So our fuel is good, so our fuel is down here, fuel quantity, so it's very accurate on here. Tells us our left and right tanks, exactly what they've got in each. Engine T's and P's in the green. Radio's achieved and check direction. We're obviously heading back to Goodwood now. An altimeter, we're currently coming down to 1200 feet, so I'm going to bring it down to 1200 just because we're going to do a straight approach. If I go on engine as well, we can go on system and we can see exactly how much fuel flow gallons per hour we're using. So currently at this RPM setting and speed, we're using 6.1 gallons an hour. Gallons used, obviously that's how much fuel we've burnt already, and gallons remaining tells us obviously how much gallons we've got left. Oil pressure tells us up here, and our oil in Fahrenheit temperature is currently 194. Lean on here, we can see what the pistons are doing within the engine. So you can see they're all going up and down quite frantically because obviously they're spinning at around about 2000 RPM. And your engine Fahrenheit is 990. So So it's a very clever system, tells us all the things that are going on in the engine, tells us all the things that are going on around us as we have TCAS on this aircraft. So that's traffic collision avoidance system, and so if there were any other aircraft in the area, it would give us a TCAS warning and tell us that, or show us on the map, sorry, as to where that aircraft was. So we're just going to climb back up to 1200 again, just to maintain our height. So we've got runway 14 in sight, which is just over there. I don't know if you'll be able to see on the camera just yet, but it will be coming up on our left-hand side. So we're going to bring the power back now. We're going to now trim for 70 knots for our approach speed, and then when we actually get onto final, we'll head for 65 knots. So we're going to put the first stage of flap in. Maintaining 70 knots. And we're going to maintain our height with our speed, of course. So we're currently at 560 feet and descending. Going to put our first stage of flap in now. I've recently fiddled with the graphics a bit, and it's running a lot more smoother, but it's a little bit more blurry further ahead you look, so it's just a little bit hard to pick out the runway at the moment. So if I am off centre, I do apologise, but it's because it is quite blurry on the projector screen at the moment, so I'll have to sort that out. So this is the centre of 14 here. Start to bring it back now. Idle power. Bringing the nose, just flaring it and letting it glide. There we go. And we're down. So let's bring it round. I'll vacate the runway first to the left. Lights off now. So we'll bring it round and we'll park up next to the Goodwood Flying School aircraft. Bring it round. So we've obviously got the terminal just in front of us with the Aerodrome Cafe and the Flying School. So we're just going to bring it around and bring it in line with the other aircraft. So we're just going to set 1200, just leave it there just for the minute. Turn our taxi light off now, turn our avionics off, and bring the throttle back and mixture to cut off, and there we go. We'll turn the beacon off, master switch off, and magnetos to off as well. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little flight just to introduce you to our new G1000 setup. Obviously more videos to come within the simulator, actually flying to different locations and also flying in the real world, which I'm hoping to bring you some content soon once I get my license. So stay safe out there and happy flights.